Why she didn't choose you. The hidden psychology behind her obsession with chaos. You gave her everything: love, stability, safety. Yet, she vanished. Why? Because she wasn't looking for peace. She was addicted to the storm. And you're about to discover why good men like you often lose to unpredictable ones. She didn't want your love. She wanted the challenge of taming something wild. You gave her affection. She disappeared. You gave her consistency. She got bored. You gave her everything she said she needed: attention, devotion, protection. Still, she traded you for a man who gave her none of those things. Why? Because she doesn't fall in love with obedience. She doesn't crave surrender. She gets emotionally hooked on resistance. She longs for the man she can't define, can't predict, and can't fully touch. And you were too easy to read, too safe, too pure. She didn't leave because you failed. She left because you weren't dangerous enough to make her feel truly alive. Let that sink in. This isn't about love in the romantic sense. This is about neurochemical addiction. It's a deep-rooted psychological pattern, shaped by evolution and emotional conditioning. No one teaches you this because the truth hurts. But truth doesn't wait for comfort, it demands confrontation. And this video is your confrontation. You're about to learn why women get hooked on the men they can't control, why nice guys are often forgotten, and why unpredictability leaves emotional scars that never heal. This is the dark side of attraction. A place where emotional safety becomes a sin, not a virtue, where peace feels like death, and chaos feels like love. You were trained to be the safe man. Always available, always respectful, always calm. You tried to be her rock, but she wasn't looking for a rock. She was looking for a storm, a fire that didn't dim when she cried. You offered her stability, but she mistook it for dullness. You gave her gentleness, but she felt it as weakness. You gave her all the things that seemed right, but they didn't spark her. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because you weren't emotionally resistant enough to be unforgettable. This isn't a sermon, this is a reckoning. You tried to become the man she described in her words, but she became obsessed with the man who never tried at all. And now, you're starting to understand why. Chapter 1. The truth about her attraction. She told you she wanted a man who makes her feel safe, so you became the definition of a consistency. You texted her every morning, you asked about her day. You listened, never interrupted, you never raised your voice, you were always there. Still, she slowly drifted away. She replied slower, she became busy. Then one day, nothing. You were ghosted by the same woman who once said, "I just want someone who won't hurt me." You thought you made a mistake, but it wasn't what you did, it was who you were and who you weren't. You weren't unpredictable, you weren't a mystery. You didn't activate the primal chaos inside her nervous system. She's not driven by logic, she's driven by limbic instinct, the raw, emotional part of the brain. To her subconscious, unpredictability feels like value, like intensity. The nice guy makes her feel safe, but not alive, and she's addicted to feeling alive. She says she wants peace, but peace feels like emptiness. She wants the thrill of not knowing what's coming next. Will he reply? What is he thinking? What does he feel about me? These unknowns create a clash-day dopamine spike in her brain. And dopamine, not love, is the chemical that fuels obsession. You were texting goodnight at 10:30 p.m. Meanwhile, another man left her on read. You saw his silence as rude. She called it mysterious. He made her wait, and in that waiting, she got hooked. Not on him, but on how she felt chasing him. You weren't forgotten because you lacked value watch. You were forgotten because you lacked stay volatility. And no matter how much she says she hates drama, chaos is where her emotions wake up. She doesn't want a smooth, straight path. She wants curves, arse, twists, drops, a roller coaster, not a road. You were that safe village, but she was looking for whash wolves. You didn't challenge her emotional core, You didn't shake her spirit. So she left. And the man who broke the rhythm, who vanished without apology, who spoke in fragments instead of paragraphs, that's the man she replays at 2 a.m. Because in unpredictability, her subconscious says, this must matter or it wouldn't feel this intense. Let that sentence burn until you understand that Plasan safety doesn't excite her. You'll keep offering peace to a woman who craves emotional storms. But unpredictability is just the beginning. Now we go deeper to the place where she fully loses control. Sapchich, the addiction to powerlessness. She told you she wanted partnership, so you gave her power. You let her choose the direction. You gave her the final say. You adjusted, you surrendered, and what did she do? She left. Not with anger, not in betrayal, but in emptiness. Because deep inside, she didn't want to lead. She wanted to feel led. She says she wants equality, yet she chases the man who never offers it. She says she wants control, but melts for the man who doesn't ask her permission. You gave her the wheel, but he gave her powerlessness. And in that space where she lost control, she came alive. She felt safe with you, but she felt nothing that awakened her. He ignored her. He didn't explain himself. He made her earn his attention. That man became unforgettable, not because he offered love, but because he activated emotional chaos. He made her feel unstable in a way that looked like chemistry. You gave her the crown. He made her question if she was even in the kingdom. And guess what? She never left his side, because it's not rational, it's biological. She chose chaos over love, and you never even saw it coming. You gave her what she said she wanted. She said, I just want something real. So you gave her consistency, honesty, and depth, but she left. She wasn't lying when she said she wanted love. She just didn't realize her nervous system wasn't wired for it. This isn't a choice she made with her mind. It's a pattern built by emotional trauma, past wounds, and childhood conditioning. She's addicted to the uncertainty of love, not love itself. To her, love must feel like a chase, like tension, like walking on emotional glass. The good man feels too easy. You were available. You replied on time. You didn't play games. You brought peace. But she equated your emotional presence with lack of value. In her subconscious, if you're always there, then your time isn't scarce. And what's not scarce doesn't feel special. So she looked for emotional scarcity, for the man whose attention felt like a reward, not a right. He showed up when he wanted. He didn't ask deep questions. He didn't try. And she worked twice as hard for half his attention. You made her your priority. He made her an option. Guess who she obsessed over? The one who didn't validate her easily. Why? Because to her brain, validation without struggle feels fake. But struggle feels earned. And what's earned feels valuable. Wow, she's not choosing bad men consciously. This is important. She's not trying to get hurt. She's chasing emotional intensity, not realizing it's self-destruction. She doesn't want to be ignored. She just wants to feel. And often, pain is more emotionally powerful than peace. It's not love she's addicted to. It's the high of anxiety, the thrill of being unsure. It's the chemical cocktail of dopamine from uncertainty, cortisol from stress, oxytocin from rare intimacy. And this mix becomes a cycle she doesn't know how to break. So when you gave her peace, her system panicked. Why isn't this love stressful? Why does he make me feel calm? Why am I not worried about losing him? That calm felt like boredom, because love, to her, had always felt like instability. She didn't trust it, so she ran. Her brain is rewarding chaos. Every time she got anxious over a man's silence, her brain released dopamine. That spike became addictive. So even though she cried over his distance, She kept going back. You tried to build something. He barely showed up. But in her nervous system, he was the reward center. Not because he gave her love, but because he gave her something rare, emotional confusion. She was never taught that real love is boring at first, that safety is hawak or unsexy, until your heart learns to trust it. That peace feels strange until you heal the part of you that thinks love must hurt. You weren't rejected for being wrong. You were rejected for being too right and too soon. And that's a bitter truth to carry. But it's not your shame to hold. It's her pain, disguised as preference. Your job was never to fix her. Read this carefully. Your love couldn't heal her wound because she wasn't ready for peace. She was loyal to chaos. She needed to lose to learn. She needed heartbreak to see the pattern. She needed silence to hear her own damage. You weren't her savior, you were her mirror. She didn't reject you. She rejected the reflection you held up, one that showed her what healthy love looks like and how far she was from receiving it. So don't carry guilt, don't become cold, don't turn bitter. She didn't leave because you lacked value. She left because you didn't fit the emotional wounds she kept revisiting. You were too whole for someone still broken. Nam. Real love starts after chaos ends. One day, she may come back, not because she misses you, but because the storm finally broke her. But by then, you'll be someone else. Someone who doesn't beg for scraps of affection. Someone who doesn't trade peace for attention. Someone who understands that love should not feel like survival. You were not too much. You were finally enough. She just wasn't ready to receive it. And maybe that's not tragic. Maybe that's your freedom. Navwa, let this be your new standard. If she gets bored by peace, she's not ready for love. If she confuses safety with weakness, she hasn't healed. If she needs chaos to feel alive, she's still lost. You are not here to be exciting through dysfunction. You are not here to entertain her unhealed wounds. You are here to love deeply and be loved back with clarity. Stop blaming yourself. Start honoring your emotional depth. Because someday a woman will come who sees your calm as a gift, not a burden. Who sees your honesty as strength, not strategy. Who feels lucky, not bored, to be loved by you. She will not run, she will rest, and so will you.